Great skills again by him. Oh, marvellous goal by Lewis.
Welcome to the Rangers Journey.
Welcome everyone to your post-match reaction pod to Rangers 3-1 victory over them at Parkhead. I'm joined to talk about this game by at least Scotty, at least Cammy, because Scotty and Ryan, I've got a feeling, might join us at some point as well, because they're together today. So Cammy, how are you feeling, mate?
It's just, I think I said before the game I predicted 3-1, but if at half time I just couldn't see anything. Rangers were abject in the first half, but absolutely delighted. Fantastic second half performance. The right substitution from Danny Rule, but the players deserve all the credit in the second half. Three shots on target, 3 goals, 3 points. Couldn't ask for a better start to 2026. Absolutely delighted.
Well, hey, I'm delighted, but I'm sitting here just after the game, not really calmed down myself either, and it's like I don't know how we go. I don't know how we got out of there with that, because I felt let's just start from the beginning of the match. I thought we come out the traps pretty well. It makes a change. First 5 minutes we were pressing, high press. We were getting no clear cut chances, but we were getting on their faces. I expected them to do the same to us, but it took them about 10 minutes or so for that to kind of change around. But for me, it was very much after those first 5-10 minutes, no urgency in our play. And I'm going to say, we'll caveat this, we will talk about the good stuff in a wee minute, but there's things that annoy me. Blasting balls at each other. I remember reading about Stevie Gerrard doing that to Peter Crouch in training to test if he was a good enough player, to play for them. But these players can't control the ball when it's placed to them at that speed, so we need to, I don't know, mate, that was disappointing. Connor Barron, I feel, fell out of it for a lot of period of that starting, lost the ball a few times. His deliveries from set pieces weren't great. And then to go on to Asgard, I've said this many games, I never want to see him play for us again, Cammy. It was awful.
It's one of those that we're all buzzing. We've had a great win, but in any post-match, you have to cover the bits that weren't so good. And that first half, Asgard was poor, Magoma was poor. I said to one of my mates at half-time, you could have substituted pretty much any of the outfield players. I thought the front, Chermiti, Gassama, Mikey Moore, they were just giving the ball away far too easy. It just looks too big an occasion for Asgard. He looks like a bit of a startled rabbit, and it just doesn't look, it just looks too big for him, to be perfectly honest with you. But all through that first half, Billy, it was a case of try and keep it at 1. And as the half was going on, I thought we just need to get to half time here, try and regroup. Celtic, I think Chris Sutton in commentary said Celtic, when they're on top, had to get that second goal. And it's happened to us many times in the past. You have to put the game to bed when you're on top. And Celtic didn't do that when we were there for the taking. If it wasn't for Jack Butland making some good saves again, the game would have been home and hose for half time. But abject Rangers performance. It was a classic game of 2 halves, Billy.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, talking about Butland, they did make a few good saves. Going back to Asgard, though, it's not like you're saying it's too big for him. He just strolls up. I've seen him. We lost the ball a few times, and he could have picked it up. Kind of a loose ball, and he just doesn't even seem to be aware that the ball was there to be won in the first place. No attention span.
I think the first goal, I think whoever it was at Yang, I think, that scored the goal, he takes the throw in, and it's inexcusable, to be honest with you. That, but I've always thought he looks like a five-a-side player. He just looks like the type of player that coasts about. Isn't he suited to Scottish football? And I don't think he'll see beyond this season, to be perfectly honest with you. But I thought bringing Diomande on, who hasn't been great, but I thought Diomande alongside Barron and Raskin in the second half were outstanding. But Asgard, I think he'll learn from it, hopefully, but not a good day for him.
No, I mean, the amount of times they were able to play the ball in, it seems like they've done it once and got a good chance from it, and then they went, oh, and it just kept putting the and got to be fair to them, the passing was accurate. They were getting balls to their forwards. Not a lot of quality there, I would say, in their forward line, which, fair enough. They had all those shots and goal and only got one goal for them, so I don't think I'm out of line saying that. But their goal, as you say, Yang takes the throw in, gets the ball back, and then it's like a hot butter. Our defence completely disappears, and he walks us through. And I've got to say, I do think Jack Butland should have done better.
Aye, without a doubt. I mean, we'll go on later in the game and talk about his saves and who's going to be your man of the match and that sort of thing. And I think he'll know himself that he should do better. I mean, it's a thunderous shot. I sound like Archie McPherson there, but it's straight at him. To be honest, I think he has to get something on it. And Jack Butland will be disappointed with it. But it's a classic Rangers. Switching off a throw. You should never be losing a goal for a throw in. It's just inexcusable. And we haven't really lost many cheap goals like that, certainly domestically under Danny Rule. But that was a shocker today, and we're fortunate that we've managed to get through that poor first 45 and come away with the victory.
The thing is, he did play. Obviously, he played very well the rest of the game. Lots of good saves. I liked the bit of time wasting that he was doing. Even in the first half, he was doing it. Takes the pressure off us a wee bit, like releases the pressure. We do come into the first half, maybe the last couple of minutes, maybe injury time, and we do get a goal chopped off for offside for Cammy. He did this in the second half, even after he scored. Very slow to get back, very lazy. I don't know if
I think Billy was one of about 10 players that were offside. Yeah, it summed up our first half, and we were lazy. And I think that goal or non-goal was the classic example of it.
I do think that I was hit and miss with this, even though it doesn't matter now. The goal was chopped off. Moore takes a touch rather than just hitting it first time, and I'm like, is that confidence or is that lack of confidence? Because he's no sure.
Probably just no sure. I think they all looked unsure in that first half. So I don't know what Danny Rule said to them at half time or gave rockets up their backside. But I thought it looked a very unsure Rangers performance, lacking in any sort of belief and intensity in the first half. And then in the second half was just the complete opposite of that. But to be honest with you, Billy, as the half was going on, I was just looking forward to going in. Well, not looking forward to going in a goal behind, but just grateful for the fact that the game wasn't dead and buried, and we had the opportunity to try to rectify it. And that's Celtic will look back on it with regret because they had the game there for the taking. But that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Again, I'll go back to we have a lack of quality in our team, but they certainly have a lack of quality as well in several positions. The back and the front, really. I mean, the midfield maybe functions pretty well, but I don't see a lot to be scared of. To be honest, after that's the first time I watched them properly. After with Nancy being the manager. One other chance in the first half, Gassama's through on goal. Could maybe have taken it round the goalkeeper, Schmeichel, sorry. It could maybe have chipped it over him even, but Schmeichel gets a good boot to it. Not that he knew anything about it, but that's what goalkeepers do. But for me, it was a missed opportunity. It could easily have been a goal.
It's one of those, it's not a really bad miss, but he had
should have done better.
He had the option of taking it by him because I think they said it in commentary, Schmeichel's flying out of goals. If he goes past him on the outside, the momentum potentially takes him out, and you get that first penalty at that place in like 15 years. But fortunately, we didn't need a penalty today, and we got in at the break, and I think could have been any substitution could have been made, to be honest with you. But I thought the most obvious one was to take Asgard off for Diamandi, and I think whatever change Danny Rule has said to them all at half time has had an immediate impact.
As much as I started the pod still in a bit of a mood with that first half, that's kind of the way to be honest, that's went better than it normally does. Normally they get 2 or 3 goals in the first half, and then we come out in the second half and maybe get 1 or 2 back, but the game's done. At least we went in at half time, we were given us a chance. Well, that's to do with our defending or their lack of skill forwards. I don't know, but yeah, we get in at half time. I wasn't for coming watching the second half, mate. And you know what? I say that half in jest, but I went out to the car because I've got some stuff to do in it. And I went, I'll go back in. And the game was just starting again. But Dave was meant to be taking this post-match, but he had an emergency, so he asked me to do it. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to watch this. Now, what I don't like about doing post-matches is that it means I have to take notes. So I'm going to say that up front. I've not done that because I didn't know I was meant to be doing the post-match. So I don't have everything in a timeline. But yeah, immediately, Cammy, I think we look better from the kick-off in the second half. We take the game to them.
I mean, it's just about intensity, and like actually, I spoke about it on the pre-match, playing on the front foot. You know, I'm not saying go gung ho and like throw the kitchen sink at it, but actually have the intent. And if you play with an intent and you play with an intensity and an effort, then you will get your rewards. I mean, it must have been a great halftime team talk. That's easy for me to say, but I think it's you straight away you saw. I think we done more in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half than we had done in the whole of the first half. You know, and it's just the eye test never lets you down. You know, it's like you can just tell when players are putting that wee bit extra effort in. Too many players in the first half were coasting, and from the outset of the second half, we tried with a wee bit of intent. I have absolutely no idea what happened, to be perfectly honest with you, in the second half, other than we scored 3 goals. Jack Butland had a few saves, Big Dujon, and the 3 in the middle of the park were brilliant. We can talk about Chermiti and stuff, but with regard to a timeline and how the ball hit the back of the net, I have absolutely no idea.
Well, I've got some memory of it. Not great particularly. I say I'll need to watch it back and take some notes if I'm going to be on Monday's pod. We'll see who's on that, but. Yeah, cross. Who is it even cross? Is it Raskin that makes a cross on the line? And Chermiti's there for a tap in. I don't know what you're like, but I fully expect goals to be chopped off. Not even just against them. I'm just like, I never really enjoy goals anymore because so often, and it's not every time, but it's enough times that something's happened 30 seconds, 40 seconds back that gets it ruled off. With this one. Looking at the replay back, there was nothing really in it, so I kind of started to relax fairly quickly. What does annoy me is when they don't pull back to show you the if a kickoff's about to be taken, because you're seeing replays and stuff, and that's great. But I want to know if the game's going to be on. So anyway, yeah, that's a nice finish for Chermiti.
I think Nico got into that position and he picks the big man out. And listen, Chermiti's had a lot of criticism. Quite rightly, but I think he has shown signs of improvement in recent weeks. But sometimes it needs big moments, and scoring 2 goals and a victory away from home, hopefully that gives him a bit of belief and a bit of confidence. Because
and the old form as well, Cammy.
You know, you can't. I mean, to be honest, I was really hoping that he was going to bag his hat trick, but. It's going to be remembered for him scoring 2 goals, and I thought the second goal was a great finish. To be perfectly honest, but it was poor from the Celtic point of view. But we've not really seen Chermiti in that sort of position very often. But just get yourself back into the game, Billy. We got ourselves back into the game, 1-1, and then it's like, right, try to build for that. I mean, I would have been delighted with 1-1 at the end of the game, but the way that we went out in that second half with the intensity to play, and you get the goal at the right time, and I think that's sometimes the issue in games. It's just getting the goals at the right time, and it made the last 20 minutes quite comfortable, to be honest. The fact that we were well ahead.
Well, just on that goal, I remember seeing the replay and thinking that was actually a good finish. It wasn't just like hit off him. If it was a back heel on that goal, then that's even better. I'll need to go and watch the highlights back and see what it's like. But, you know, the next goal, Celtic take a shy, very poorly taken. Chermiti takes the ball off. Is it Ralston? That's one of them anyway. And, you know, there was a point in the first half, he gets the ball and he runs at the top end of the pitch as if he's going towards goal. Reminded very much of Daniel Kuzan's goal against them. And he didn't do that, though. He passes it. But in this case, no, he takes the ball through on goal. Now, the Schmeichel does get a hand to it, but it's going in all day. And it's, a boot to it, but it's going in all day. That's a really nice finish. And got to say, I was critical of him in the first half, but it was kind of worlds apart for the second half. And that was a nice goal.
listen, he's still got a million miles to go to be a proper Rangers centre forward, but that's today's not the day to be. He's taken two very good finishes. From a defensive point of view, it's an absolute shocker from Celtic's point of view, but it's about being clinical and taking advantage of that. I said at the start, Billy, that we had 3 shots on target, I think, in the second half, and they were all goals. That's unheard of with regard to Rangers in a team. When I done my pre-match prediction of 3-1, I thought I was being a bit ambitious, because how many times have we scored 3 goals in recent times? So, great finish for the big man. I mean, happy days. He's obviously at that point thinking about taking the match ball home, but we were clinical and we took advantage of it, and we got ourselves ahead. And then you always think 2-1's one of those score lines. You need to get another one.
Mate, 3-1's one of those score lines for me.
We've not got. Listen, we're not good enough to have supreme confidence, but even when you're 3-1 up, because but we managed the game really, really well once we got 3-1 ahead, and I'm absolutely delighted for Mikey Moore. That's a kid that's up on loan, has had a difficult period at the start of his Rangers career, celebrated it absolutely superbly. I imagine if I was Mikey Moore, that's how I would celebrate. It's worth the yellow card, run straight into the fans. He might not play for Rangers beyond this season, but I'm sure he'll remember that moment where he scored the final goal in an Old Firm victory.
I mean, we've no idea what his career trajectory is going to be. Obviously, he's tipped to be very successful, probably down south. I can't imagine he won't be on podcasts or fan engagement nights in 25 years' time talking about that goal, because that's how much these kind of moments mean to players like him who aren't, like Clint Hill, for instance. Okay, he was only here for a season, but he gets that goal and a draw, and he's still invited up to talk about it in fan events and stuff. So yeah, I think that goal will live with him no matter what he goes on to do. I think he won't forget that one. But talking about the goal, very poor again by Schmeichel. He really should save that one. It's Mikey Moore gets the ball, tries to into goal, places it kind of the back corner, not not into the corner as much as I would like, but Schmeichel makes an absolute dog's dinner of it.
I think he's ate a few Doug's dinners, to be perfectly honest with you. He doesn't look at his most.
I think what the problem is, he eats his own dinner, then he eats the Doug's dinner.
It must be something, Billy, because it's. I think he's not had a good week. Obviously, chucked a goal at Motherwell on Tuesday night, but it's just about us taking advantage. It doesn't matter. Listen, it's great if it's somebody beats 5 men and sticks it in the top corner, but it's about being clinical when opportunities arise. Celtic had probably 10, 12 shots on goal, shots on target. Jack Butland's had 6 or 7 good saves, but as Roy Keane would say, that's his job, and you then have to take advantage when the opportunities come, and that's what Rangers have done today. And I thought 3-1, I thought Celtic off the park, they had chucked it. I thought on the park, they had chucked it. You could hear the mood in the stadium. You could see any belief that the Celtic players had in the first half had evaporated. And that's, again, where it flipped. We went from no having any belief to being very good in possession and winning our 50-50s and everything I spoke about before the game, about winning your individual battles and winning the second balls. And I thought that was Nico's best 45 for ages. To be honest with you, I would say probably going back to last season, that's more like the Nico Raskin that we want to see. But I mean, I thought they all. Credit to every single Rangers player in the second half. Credit to Bojan Majowski for getting a yellow card for his first touch as well. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, actually, I didn't take note of the card count today, but certainly I know you wouldn't get very much money back if you had a Rangers player down for first yellow card, because that's what always seems to happen. Before we talk about the kind of end game of the game, let me mention our sponsors. That's the Bluebells Pub in Puerto del Carmen. If you're over in Puerto del Carmen, Lanzarote, they are the only Rangers bar over there, and you might even be in there right now having some pints after the game. But if you want to have a drink, if you want to have food, if you want to party, if you want to chill, it's there by the sea. Please go along and tell them we sent you. The great bunch of folk in there, and they show all the Rangers games as well. So please head along to the Bluebells Bar in Puerto del Carmen if you're over in Lanzarote. It's definitely something I've been planning my next year's holiday around, the possibility of visiting them. So do a favour and go in and get in and see them if you can. Cammy,
I bet you it's warmer than it is in Scotland today. That's for sure.
You know, the main reason I didn't bother fixing the car is because it was so cold outside. I thought I'll just watch that. It's fine. But I was not expecting the turnaround to be fair. And I know I'm saying we've seen this before. We always have a bad first half and then come out and do well in the quite often do well in the second half. I feel that we got those 3 goals. And we did play better, but it wasn't like we were then dominant. I seen after the third goal went in, we were 38% possession to Celtic 62. So we certainly hadn't taken like the game by the scruff of the neck and were putting, bearing down on them when more goals were likely to come. There always was the off chance that we would get one because of their lack of defending and having to press forward themselves. But they just huffed and puffed as well. And, Butland makes some saves, but nothing really of note.
I thought they were just, it was a bit hopeful to be the last sort of period for them. I thought we had a really good solid structure. We were heading it, kicking it, just everything that you would want. Just do all the basics of trying to defend. But Jack Butland has some excellent saves, which is important. But I thought we managed the game. We managed the game pretty well. Tav obviously comes on, but I thought
I wanted to talk about Tav in particular coming on. I mean, you can see what we lose with Sterling right back. He's not bombing up the wing and getting involved forward, but you can also see what we gain, and that's a bit more strength at the back. Because in a game like today, when they were firing the ball in, we needed someone like him there. So it's definitely a balancing act. But I say I'm a fan of Tav. I'm fully aware of where his limitations are now, so wasn't surprised to see him on the bench. But nice to see him come on, and I think Cam is down a wee bit. He's a calming presence.
And the thing is, he's not as Rangers captain been to Celtic and won a heck of a lot. We won in the 55 season when there was nobody there, and we won under Gerrard, but it doesn't happen very often. But I mean, I thought Dujon Sterling, he was one of my players in the match. I thought the big man was solid, and I think that he knows his job is to defend, and I think he's said that himself. I think if you've got better players in front of him, Billy, defenders should. I'm obviously ancient, and I think defenders should defend. Midfielders and attackers are where the games are won, but your back five are there to do a job and be solid and defensive and stuff. But obviously Tav in recent years has been a very different style of right back. But I think he knows himself that he's approaching the end of his Rangers career and he's sort of getting phased out. But I'm delighted to see him on the pitch and just glad that we managed to see it through. And as Danny Rule says, that's the next one done, and we just move on to Aberdeen on Tuesday night.
Let me take this time to point out the picture at the back of my screen, the Eurasian T-shirt, which we sell over on Etsy store. Maybe a good time to get that today. Wear it next week out and about. See if you wind any of them up. The QR code to our merch store is on the top of the screen right now. Please go over there. We also have the Danny Rule T-shirt over there. It's quite appropriate at the moment because he's certainly... Cammy, I read a comment online before that if he doesn't win today, then not that he needs binned right now, but he's shown he's not the man that can take us forward. So in the summer, let him go. Just an off-the-cuff comment, but he has won today. So how does this change the kind of lay of the land when it comes to Danny Rule?
Well, I think it's important, and they spoke about it with Neil McCann before the match, about big matches. We obviously lost the semi-final. We lost at Hearts. We've been a car crash in Europe. He needed almost the cliched statement win, a big win, and that's all he's done is got that statement win, and it's something. And I again spoke with Ryan and Chris before the game. This is the start of 2026. the best way to start 2026 with 3 points, beating Celtic, and then try to chase down Hearts by keeping winning, and hopefully it just every go on a 7, 8, 9, 10 game win. Because the team that does that will go on and win the league if anybody is capable of doing that between now and sort of the end of February into March. But Danny Rowell's done really well with what he's got to work with, and I'm very interested to see what the rest of the month looks like. I know there's people disappointed that we've not got 5 starters in already, but I think it's January transfer windows traditionally difficult, and Big Chermiti sticking a couple of goals in the back of the net. If that can be him between the end of if he can hit 10 goals between now and the end of the season, that could be the difference between us winning the league or not winning the league. Because I think at the top end of the pitch, Danny Rowell has made us probably a bit stuffier and a bit more resilient, although we still did give up a lot of chances today. So he deserves credit, but I think middle to front there's still work to be done with regard to that. But full credit to Danny Rowell. It's a great start to the year for him. But listen, social media at half time, Billy's. I stuck a tweet on and came back off because it's either one or the other. There's never a balance to it. The bottom line is we were terrible and it was abject in the first half. But Danny Rowell's got in about them second half. He's at half time, made a change, and we've had the reaction, and he deserves credit for. I still can't believe on the 3rd of January that we are actually level with Celtic, and we're now, as we speak, 3 points behind Hearts before they play today. Hearts play Celtic in a couple of weeks' time. We've got the back-to-back against Aberdeen. If you can come out of these next 2 games against Aberdeen with 6 points, then it's well and truly game on. But full credit to Danny Rowell. He's not going to get bumped. I think we can't just keep continuing this cycle. I see enough from him, and I like enough of what he says, and he shows far more pragmatism. That last comment there, still loads of room for improvement. 100% performances. There's been bits of good performances. Today wasn't a superb tiki-taka, brilliant football, dominant, in control, but there's many ways to win a game of football, and we have turned a game at half-time where it looked as though we had absolutely no prospect of getting a draw, never mind 3 points. So Danny Rowell and the players deserve all the credit for that, for getting us into this position.
He's certainly going to be judged by the rest of this season, Cammy. I'm one of the ones that's disappointed we've not at least brought 1 or 2 in. I thought we should have had players already identified. Maybe not to be involved in today's game or anything, but I would have liked. So maybe it's not feasible. I mean, it's 1st of January, but I do want them in, at least in the first week or so. So I'm disappointed we've not even heard any kind of mumblings of anything like that, although the club do kind of keep things under wraps.
I think the boy Penrice that was at Hearts, I think there certainly seems to have been an offer there, and
right.
AK, I think it's AK Athens he's at, and I mean that tells you that. I mean, I thought Magoma in the first half was he just looked like a wee guy playing at left back, and I think that is one of the 4 or 5 positions that badly needs strengthened. So Penrice appears to be the only one, and that's I think Ewan Cameron of the radio. I don't know if he's related to Penrice or if he's been dropping bits on social media and said Rangers have made an offer for him, but it's not been accepted. That's where clubs don't want to sell players, and Rangers will probably say, right, we want to pay £2 million, and they're saying, well, we want £4 million. So it depends. We have to get players out the door. We have to free up wages as well. So your Danilos and Lyle Camerons and guys like that. I think that could be you could be trying to balance as well, but we just keep winning, and then we see where we are at the end of the month. We will have to strengthen, and I think Ryan said pre-match, whoever has the out of the 3 sides, and let's not discount Motherwell as well. Whoever has the best transfer window could be the team that goes on to win the league. I didn't actually know that about Penrice being 28, but I'm no fussed on what age he is. I just want somebody that's good enough and has got the balls to play for Rangers.
Okay, I mean, I'm not BBC verified, so I'm not even going to Google that. If he's 28, he's 28. That's fine. I mean, again, we'll probably talk about it in more detail over the week. We've been linked to a couple of ex-players like Aribo and Windass. My problem isn't that we're looking at ex-players. My only concern would be, are these actually the players that when we went out to scout for certain positions were the top candidates? If so, fair enough. That's what they went for. But it seems a bit lazy. Or somebody's out of contract, or somebody maybe wants to come here. Do you think it's more just internet rumours rather than real links?
I think, to be honest, I mean, the Josh Windass doesn't make any sense. I think they're apparently wanting 4 million for him, which is they don't want to sell him. He's 32 next birthday. He's been playing regularly at Wrexham. Danny Rule and him got on well at Sheffield Wednesday, so I think it's a case of 2 and 2. And it comes to 5. I think that's what that one. Joe Aribo's barely kicked a ball for ages. I would be very, very disappointed if that's the extent of our scouting network, is that it brings us back to Alfredo Morelos and Joe Aribo and all they sort of players. Listen, I loved Alfie, but come on, this isn't 2019, 2020 again. It's we need better players, but it's Rangers, as you say, we kept things under quite close pre-season, and I think this month will be the same. And I think Danny Rule has said it's just about when the moment arises. But I think the fact that the Penrice, that's the one that appears to have. But it depends what the budget is, depends how much we're willing to pay. We did spend a lot of money in the summer. Shermiti has not been worth 8 million. I don't think he'll ever be worth £8 million, but he's started to pay back a little bit of it. And see if Chermiti can score 10 to 15 goals between now and the end of the season, that gets us the league title and gets us pretty much almost guaranteed into the Champions League, then the £8 million is going to be well worth it. But we will have to strengthen certainly 2 or 3 would be my hope this month, Billy.
I'm hoping for a couple more than that, mate. Anyway, I've left that on the screen from Doug because Doug is a BBC verify. So, he's 27, won't be 28 until December. And he does make a good point that that's a good age to come into a defence, experienced and hopefully be able to lead it. So we'll see what comes of that. I mean, there's lots of players in the summer that were definitely coming and then never have materialised. Offers in for players. England International was one, I can't remember his name now, but never ended up happening. And that's
Connor Cody.
Yeah, that's the one. We during the week, I'm thinking like you're reading the predictions and stuff like that, and folk are saying, well, if we score 3 clear goals, we go into second place or whatever, leapfrog Celtic. I never thought it was a possibility of that, but see, as the game's coming to an end, like, see if we just nick one more than out, that would be an absolute fantastic nail in the coffin for this. Well, not this year because it's now into the new year, but writing off last year and starting this year with a statement.
Without a doubt. I mean, us a week ago, before we had the 2 home games, which I thought were very difficult home matches, if we could get 7 points out of the 3 games, I would have been really happy with that. But I think to have picked up 9 out of 9, it can only build belief and confidence. I said that again pre-match, that it's about us as supporters getting confidence and the players building confidence, and Chermiti bagging a couple of goals, and he might suddenly go on a run of scoring goals because he's getting a run of games and what have you. But it's the best way to start any year is beating Celtic, and let's hope that's the start of a big Terminator. But listen, I think he enjoyed his celebrations, which he's entitled to do. He's had a difficult few months, only a young kid, but delighted for him, but delighted for the Rangers support. We've had a hell of a time over the last 10, 15 years. We've had one league title that we couldn't really enjoy because it was the COVID season. We've got an opportunity here. We've got ourselves back into a title race. It's up to the players, the manager, and the supporters to back it, and hopefully one or two players in, and hopefully Tav ends his Rangers career in the summer lifting the league title.
Cammy, need to stop saying one or two players, 5 or 6 players, 5 or 6 players. Come on. I guess we'll see. So yeah, Hearts are playing today. Is that right, Cammy? Who are they? Who are up against?
Livingston, I believe, at home. So that'll be that's 3 points. It's very much we've got the back-to-back against Aberdeen. You know, and win on Tuesday night, go to Aberdeen, win. Then it's the cup against Annan. And then the weekend after that, we play Dundee at home and Hearts play Celtic at Tynecastle. So something might have to give that weekend. But we just have to look after ourselves.
I did notice we've got quite a run of home games coming up. So, you know, it's come out for the league games at least coming out, and well, we'll have to win all the games. But if we come out with majority wins out of that, then we put ourselves in a really good position. But again, I'm not getting ahead of myself. We do take on Aberdeen next week. Are you hopeful of carrying this momentum into it? Because let me just say, the St Mirren game I felt was one of our best performances in a while, but we still gave away a goal late on and a penalty. It could easily have been a draw despite having, you know, controlled the game. The amount of chances we missed, complete flip-flop from today, where we took all the chances we got basically. But I'm hopeful that we take some kind of, there is this momentum building like you're talking about.
I thought the first hour, when we started to make substitutions on Tuesday night, I thought the performance dropped a wee bit, and we sat deep and invited on St Mirren a wee bit. But two big wins, and we've followed it up today when at 1 o'clock, at 1:15 today, half time. I don't think anybody had any belief that Rangers were going to come back and win by 3-1. But we've got Aberdeen Tuesday night. You know what games against Aberdeen are like. Win and turn the Ibrox into a fortress again between now and the end of the season. We've got Hearts at home in February. There's as you said, Billy, there's a run of home fixtures. Turn Ibrox into a fortress where you can almost count the points on the board. But we aren't good enough to look too far ahead to be honest. And I think Paul says that it's one game at a time at us, and that's spot on for me. I don't think we can look. You can look on paper and go, nah, right, we've got this, that, and the next thing. But it's about enjoying tonight, enjoying the next couple of days, recover Tuesday, probably make one or two changes just to freshen things up. I think Tav will probably come back in. Sterling might go to centre half to give Suter a break after injury and what have you. But they showed a bit of balls in that second half, and they're going to have to show it in the remainder of this season for us to be successful. We've got a Scottish Cup and we've got a league title. It would be brilliant to kick on, use this as the springboard to kick on for the rest of the season. I want, and I said this before the game, Ibrox has not been full since the start of the season. You know, there's been loads of empty seats. Tickets have been easy to get. Let's try and get back to in a proper title race. Let's get back to Ibrox being full to capacity, and we'll have a part to play as supporters to get right behind the team and help them push on. But I still can't believe it, Billy, that we're actually discussing a Rangers team in with a shout of winning the league title. I would never, when Russell Martin left after that Falkirk game, I would never have believed it in a million years. So I'm just grateful that we've got this opportunity, and I just hope we take it.
No, I agree. I was going to say that, Cammy. It's like, when you look at where we were, how bad the performances were, the kind of saving grace for us still being in the races, we didn't lose a lot of games under Russell Martin. We just didn't win the ones we really should have been winning. And obviously the football was awful, but that's kind of helped to some degree. But we're not in a title race unless we keep it going. So we need to keep doing that. We need to keep winning one game at a time. We'll go back to the match today for a man of the match off you, Cammy, and also I was trying to think of another question to ask about around the man of the match. Your man of the match of the first half and man of the match of the second half.
Oft. First half. It's impossible. It would be Jack Butland purely because he kept it to 1. Second half, Jack Butland and Dujon Sterling for me I thought was excellent in that second half, and Big Chermity. So I've probably gave you about 4 man of the matches there, but that's what you want though. There shouldn't be somebody that's glaring as the man of the match, but although Butland probably should have done better for the first goal, he kept us in it in that first half, and again he had some good stops second half, and then your middle of the park and what have you. But so I don't know if I've answered your question there, but
I mean, I was just going to come out with it's Chermity for me purely because where he's been and to come, you do need to still have something about you to go to Parkhead and not play particularly well the first half. I do feel his hold up play still isn't fully there. A lot of times he's jumping for balls and it's either going over his head or he's misjudging it. But he gets 2 good finishes, especially the second one. And for where he's been, and I actually liked his celebration. He was low key about it. He didn't do the mouthing off thing that he'd done before. Respectful, I think, today. Appreciated the fans, and I think he should be a man of the match. Well, my man of the match purely for those 2 goals in the Old Firm game. I think that gets you any day of the week. So, Cammy, anything else for the game you want to talk about? These things are meant to be 20, 25 minutes. We're nearly going 45. So, anything else to say before we finish up?
Listen, we've done 45 in the pre-match. I'll be disappointed if we don't do 45 in the post-match. No, just pleased that we've had the victory to start the year. That didn't seem possible at half time. Just it was the complete Jekyll and Hyde Rangers performance. First half, miles off it. Second half, everything you want. Biting into tackles, winning the second balls, backing up your teammate. All the dirty stuff that we looked very passive in that first half. And if it's Danny Rule, if it's the senior players, if it's just the players themselves, have gave themselves a shake. Nico, best 45 that he's had in the second half. We'll need the best version of Nico Raskin in the second half of this season. The key players need to step up and lead. And I know it is still an area where we are still lacking leaders and people that are leaders there, but they're just no Terry Butcher, Richard Gough, Barry Ferguson, Ali McCoy's type leaders. But I'm just delighted, Billy, that we've got ourselves back into a title race. Don't expect Hearts to drop anything today, but it's about Rangers now. Control what we can control, and that's us continuing to win. Starting on Tuesday night against Aberdeen, and then go up there next Sunday and hopefully do the same. But a great way to start 2026.
I guess my worry is they do end up changing manager now, Cammy, because they were fairly solid under Martin O'Neill. I'm not suggesting he's the future or anything, but if they do go back to that particular well, he did have them playing pretty well. What was it, like 7 wins out of 8, something along those lines? Nonsi, I think, has lost 6 out of 8 of his games. So we know how bad the team can play with the same players with a poor manager, or a manager that either doesn't get it or doesn't play the system that suits the players that he's got. He plays a system that he wants to play and damned everybody else, if you know what I mean. So that would be because we're certainly ascending, they're certainly descending. I'm hoping they don't flip anything and change that over, but we can only concentrate on ourselves. One thing I would say is Hearts have never had a real challenge at the top. Celtic and us have been bad this season. So if we do go on a sustained run, it will be interesting to see how Hearts cope with that week in, week out, having the scoreboard pressure.
Without a doubt, it's a totally different situation. What's that, halfway through the season? I said we can't look too far ahead. We've got Hearts in about 6 weeks' time. It would be great to be 100% in the league between now and then have the opportunity to beat them at Ibrox on the the Sunday afternoon when we play them. But I think if you could go on that runny games, and that applies to anybody, I'm not sure if Celtic will bump the manager. It'd be a brave call, to be honest, because they seem quite all in on him. But I am very much of the belief it's what Rangers do between now and the end of the season that'll determine it. We've got ourselves back into a title race. Let's go on and lift that title.
I do feel like if you go away, obviously we drew the first game at Ibrox, but if you go away at Parkhead in the second game and get a win, it's almost like advantage Rangers, because we've got the next home game, which will probably be, if it's decisive at all, that probably will be the only one that's decisive. Usually the last 4 Old Firm games are played when the league is done and there's not really much to play for. So yeah, advantage us at the moment. I'll have went at 45 minutes just because you said so, Cammy. But the pre-matches aren't meant to go 45 minutes, mate. It's meant to be 15, 20 minutes. I don't know who was hosting that one.
I'll leave that in your capable hands.
No, but if stuff to talk about, like a game like today, yeah, I don't mind, because we like to go into more detail on the Monday night pod into the game, and we will do that. So yeah, look out for pods this week. We will be live on Monday at 6:30. We'll also have our pre and post match for the Aberdeen match on Tuesday, and the regular pods the rest of the week. Do we play Sunday next week, Cammy?
We play Aberdeen on Tuesday, and then Aberdeen on Sunday at 4:30.
Oh, usually it's an early kick-off in Aberdeen. So there you go.
Yes, 4:30. And then the following Friday, I think, is Annan. So 2 league games between now and the sort of 25th of January.
I mean, the league could look totally different, especially if Hearts do drop points and Celtic continue to drop points. That would be quite a turnaround. Obviously, we need to maintain it. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for your comments on the side. I want to thank you, Cammy, for coming on again. It's very enjoyable talking to you.
It's great to. I said that to my wife. It's good to come on an Old Firm post match and celebrate a Rangers victory. I've done my share of post-mortems with certainly Dave across the last couple of years, so it's good to have a smile on my face, and it's always good when Rangers win, and long may that continue.
You know what? I bet Dave was just fed up with those post-mortems, mate, and he's seen the way we were playing at half-time and just texts me, I can't make it. We'll see if that was his excuse for getting out of it. He'll probably regret it now. It's good to come on. There's nothing better than coming on and talking about an Old Firm victory, is there? So, yeah, again, thank you, Cammy. Thank you, everyone, for your comments at the side. Please follow us. Please like and subscribe. And if you can please watch us on YouTube. It helps the channel monetarily wise a lot better than watching on other places. So yeah, please do that for us, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great evening this evening, Cammy, and I hope everyone else watching has a great evening as well. Thank you for watching. And remember, every night is a Rangers Journal night. Good night.